I want y'all to make sure y'all can hear us this time before I even get started. Real Sports Fan Podcast, Season 3, Episode 36. Let me know if y'all can hear us. That's my bad. Got a little too anxious. I'm excited to get started. Let us know if we can hear. I'm used to doing these remotes, so I forgot to hit the audio button. So might go and look out. But if y'all just give us a thumbs up or something, make sure y'all can hear us, and we'll go ahead and rock and roll. I don't want to get going. It was starting to get good. Let y'all get back on so y'all can share this. Put the watch parties back up.
Let us know if y'all can hear.
Yeah, let us know if y'all can hear us this time. Appreciate everybody.
Oh yeah, we good.
All right, we good to go. Again, appreciate y'all. Real Sports Fan Podcast, Season 3, Episode 36. Got Richard Guy, Mike Blake, two people that mean a lot to me. Again, sorry about the audio issues. Some of the things we were saying, before, as y'all know, I do this, to show love and give people their flowers while they still living. And that's what I'm doing with these two here, with Richard and everything he's done for us. Not just me and not just Mike, but for a lot of young men, a lot of people, period. And Mike, like you said, being best friends for a long time and being able to stay over his house every week. So I appreciate these guys being here. What we were really getting into starting off was, what started this relationship and this lifelong friendship and this familyhood really is what it is. And Mike was discussing, when he started going to Richmond games, and it's crazy that you said it too, Mike, because I remember when I came along, going to the games at the YMCA, watching them play,
right,
or at St. Peter and Paul, and wishing we had something like that now, it was so good going to see y'all play.
It was very competitive.
So it was compelling, man. It was some good games. Now, what I want to start off now is, Richard, tell them again what made you start coaching. I think that's important for everybody.
Well, we always playing ball, young men, but what made me get into coaching was when we lost Ty. When we lost Ty, I looked at the young men, Mike and LT, and then the rest of the guys, that Lance and Eric and all of them that was coming around. And I didn't want those guys to go through what we was going through. So my key was whatever I could do to keep them off the streets. And with the help of their parents and the other coaches, YMCA, that's what we did. We started at basketball. Basketball was the foundation,
right,
and the way to keep them off the street. And I thank God that we did a pretty good job as parents and coaches. And you can see the job we did of how these young men, they still together, and they still here, and they still doing great things.
Yeah, for sure.
And they've been very successful in life.
For sure. And again, I'm just looking at my phone, Sierra, Garrett, appreciate everybody. I'm normally on my phone doing this and everything, but appreciate everybody. So I wanted to now go to what a lot of you might not know is Mike was an excellent free throw shooter, and he won a lot of contests. So Mike, pick up just about the free throw contest and how that all started.
Okay. So pretty much that was the free throw contest back in elementary school that all of us that used to get into. And it started off as local at Eastern High School, and I ended up winning that event. And then I went to the regionals championship, which was in Salisbury at the Salvation Army. And I ended up winning that event. And then I ended up going to states in Frederick. I think I came in second or third place. I know I lost by like 2 free throws, stuff like that. Then the second year, I ended up winning the locals and winning regionals. But winning locals, but I ended up losing in the regionals. And like I said, but that was a great event, that started pretty much like all the accomplishments and stuff like that. And I remember at LT, when he was involved into it, he ended up winning the locals, the regionals, and the state. So he ended up going to the nationals, so he placed out there. So but yeah, it definitely was a good event.
Yeah, it was. I remember, I can't remember what year it was, but I remember you beat me one year. I think next year we played, so we shot at St. Peter and Paul.
Yeah.
I hit 22 out of 25, you hit 21.
Yeah.
But then I went to Salvation Army, I could only hit 15.
Right.
so I might as well let you go, But is that where you started, Mike, as far as the fundamentals? Did you start him at the foul line since you knew he was going to be a shorter guard? So obviously free throws are important as a point guard. Is that one of the reasons why the free throw shoot was so good?
Well, I always wanted him to learn how to shoot.
Mhm.
Man, he was small and handle the ball. But I used to always tell Mike, I said, go outside and practice by yourself for a while before you go play with your friends. Because I said you get a chance of practicing what you was good at, what you're weak at.
Right.
Instead of, because when you practice, when you start playing against somebody else, all you're doing is working on your strengths.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So if you took a half an hour of your day, 15 minutes of your time, practice on something by yourself, and you get to work on your weakness.
Right.
And that's how I developed that with Mike. And he took it and he ran with it, and he became good.
And starting off, what I was also saying is that we started playing together, or actually before that, we started knowing each other by playing each other in YMCA ball.
Right.
You know, Mike had a team that Richard coach. I remember guys like Daniel Lowry, shout out to Todd Perry. I think Connor was on there, and then our team was Tremaine, D. Ricketts. Another team with Turtle, the Hawk, and DJ, the Hawk coach. So, you know, that's how we started knowing who each other was.
Right.
So obviously, I'm a year older than Mike. And then I can't say I know 100%, but when we started, y'all had to pick the travel team.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
And the travel team was a little bit of extension because it was us, but also was Jermaine Dixon, shout out to Dixon. Remember, I got that picture somewhere.
Oh yeah, picture.
Trinell, Marlo Poon, you know, so
Right,
we
right.
started with the travel. And I want to say the first game we might have played, I don't know about the first one, but I remember going down to Princess Anne and playing that tournament. Remember, we got the flat tire on our way to Princess Anne,
Right,
and
right.
we missed the
Oh yeah,
first
we
game
missed the
against
first
Dale
one, yeah.
Right.
because we supposed to play them or whatever. But I can remember that. But I guess during that time, what I want to ask you, or how it started, how do we start as young kids even staying over your house? Because I can remember, you know, giving me a ride, probably from practice or something, you saying, I think it was me and Turtle first with Mike. I remember you saying, yeah, I got my son every other week, you know, so every other weekend you can come. Right. And we thought, okay, no big deal. We come, you know, one time, you know, maybe two times, but you let us come every other weekend. like, and it started with like 3 of us and then went to like 10 of us. And then, you know, so I guess what made you do that? Because you didn't have to do that, man.
I honestly think the first one probably was winning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, true. Yeah, probably was. Yeah, because LT already stayed.
Yeah,
LT
already.
Yeah.
So he was already. I think Mike and Winnie.
Yeah, because me and Winnie was so close at that time.
And then
yeah, that's right. Because Winnie was on my team. Wow. Yeah.
And then I think we had a game and we had to get up early or something. So I think y'all might have stayed one night.
Yeah. Something like that.
Then it just started happening every weekend.
Yeah, just balloon. Yeah.
And it was something I look forward to, you know.
Yeah. And we just had so much fun, and we showed, you know, it was a true definition of the family because, you know, I can remember I tell my wife all the time, like, and Mike, you know, them chicken sandwiches you would cook, you know, you get from McDonald's or the scrambled eggs and cheese in the morning, you know what I'm saying, the bread with the pancakes, like that stuff, like that we don't forget now, and you know, we 35, 34 years old, and we still don't forget that stuff. So again, that's the impact that you, and like you said, there's so many people, I mean, all your family that treat us just like, you know, me and Mike always, you know, I know joke a little bit, but me and Mike always kid a little bit. We went to Buttercup. You know,
right.
You know what I mean? You know, we did so much together. You know what I mean? And it was just, you know, y'all made us really feel like family. So again, you know, we, you know, definitely appreciate that. So it was just a blessing. You know, for sure. Let's get into, because obviously you had the YMCA. How did the AAU start? You know, it was the conversation between you and Mr. Bell and all y'all, or when did you know that you wanted to really start getting the AAU thing going?
Well, the AAU started, I guess, after we was doing the traveling team for the Y, and then I think we played a game against I think we had the Martin Luther King basketball tournament.
Oh yeah,
out to the middle school.
Yeah.
And I think we had to play against Cambridge, and we played against Ty Johnson and Juicy and all them. And Ty actually said something to me about man, you should put your team in the AAU because they was being coached. They was in AAU by the dude named Paul.
Oh yeah, I remember Paul.
Yeah, remember Paul?
Okay.
And so after that, then I said something to Mike and Bobby and Bell and all the rest of the guys.
Mhm.
And that's how AAU really came about. After they said something to me, because honestly, I didn't know nothing about AAU. I seen, I talked to Marty and
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
Marty was playing with Frank
Yeah.
and all that. But and then I got Joni
Uh-huh.
actually to help me
She was good.
dig up some information on AAU.
Yeah.
And then I was able to get a close friend of ours, Rudy Russell,
Yeah, yeah.
that lives in California. We had the first big meeting out to the middle school, and he came and spoke to everybody.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
that's how I really started that foundation of the AAU program.
Wow. Yeah. See, this is what I want on the Real Sports Fan Podcast. I get information that even I forgot or I didn't know about. So that's what's good. So that started AAU, and AAU really, changed the game. You know what I mean? Because again, not speaking for Mike, but playing ball, we play against each other,
Right.
in the Eastern, but to bring Cambridge in,
Yes.
to bring the Hurlock guys in, the Felsberg guys in, and then as Gary, we talked about a couple weeks ago, to bring the Chestertown, guys like him, Ashton, and then the Kent Island boys. We really, Queen Anne's guy. It really ended up being ballooning something real awesome, And I can remember. Do y'all remember the first states we played in? Because the first states we played in, we weren't. Me and Mike were still on the same team. We had split up.
We had split up.
We had split up. And I remember we went down there and we had a pretty good first game. I think we lost the first game, but we played pretty good. Our first time.
I can remember the first game we played.
Do you really?
We went down Salisbury and we played against Jermichaels and Buckingham.
I know
they got blown out.
And the score was 75-15.
Oh my God.
I still had the scorebook.
You
I still had the scorebook. It
Man,
was
that's crazy.
75-15.
Bo, Mike, y'all hear that? That.
Man, they put
Yeah,
a press on us, man. But to come find out, we was playing 2 years up.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, because we wasn't playing against Bub and
Right.
they were older than me.
They was a lot older.
Yeah,
than us.
they was.
So it didn't hurt us.
Yeah.
It just helped us.
That's true. It did help us. And I tell everybody too. I know y'all feel the same way. I love going to the Salvation Army. Those are days that we miss. Because you could play in one gym, and in between you could get your fries, and your burger, your hot dog, whatever, playing games, and then go to the other side. So it was great. Me and Bub, and we had talked about that too, Craig. So that was awesome. That was awesome. And I remember, I want to say it wasn't AAU, it was another YMCA year that we went down there and we beat Delmar in the tournament. I remember they had a big kid. I'm pretty sure it was YMCA, but that was a year like after that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we got more season and stuff like that.
Right.
Richard, tell people, because a lot of people, don't remember how good of a shooter Mike was. Because by the time I got to the hospital, he was still shoot good.
Right.
Shoot good, but we didn't shoot as much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Mike was the same way, because Mike was the passer. They call him Rondo now. You know what I mean?
Right,
He could shoot. I tell you, he ain't Rondo because Rondo couldn't shoot.
Right.
He shot good this year, but but I know you were talking about the free throw line. Like, how did you get Mike to shoot so good? Because being that he was so small, you would think that he really had to get the ball up there, man. But it was effortless. Like, you know what I mean? So just talk about that process.
Well, I used to take Mike out to our park, and we would just shoot. I would just pass the ball to him and just shoot and just shoot and just shoot and just shoot. We just put in time of shooting the basketball, and Mike was a good shooter.
Yes, he was.
But
we wanted to shoot more.
He was one that he started. Stop shooting and they just wanted to pass the ball.
Look at y'all moved me to the point guard. I used to play the two ball. Winnie or Turtle would play the one. Or Tay would play the one all the time. And I had to learn how to become a point guard.
When he became the point guard, he would sacrifice and he wouldn't shoot. And I remember we was in a tournament down to
the Ocean City one.
Yeah,
he killed down there.
And
had the blue Pippins on.
He didn't shoot like 2 or 3 times down the court.
You got on.
And I called a timeout. And I said some things I shouldn't have said. But he ended up coming down the next time and he drained 3 threes back to back.
I remember that.
And after the game, the coach even came to me. He was from New York, New Jersey. And he said to me, That was your son, wasn't it? That shot those three. I was like, yeah, why you say that? And he was like, because what you said to him, you didn't talk to nobody else like that.
Oh, that's how you that's how they can tell. Yeah.
I said,
yeah.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you know what? That's a very good point though, because and that's one of the things I wanted to ask, and I can ask you now is that, and I want both of y'all to answer because I'm sure it might be different both of y'all. How was that dynamic though? Because this is the thing. It's one thing to be father and son, but to also be coach and player. I'm sure sometimes, you know, maybe more for Mike than for you, but I'm sure sometimes that, you know, you got on it so bad that when it was time for father and son, he probably was still mad a little bit because of coach and player. You know what I mean? So how was it where you knew, okay, I got to push him, but maybe not as far, maybe you have an assistant talk to him. Like, how did y'all manage that? I mean, I always want to ask, that's tough. Like, you know,
I'm gonna let Mike go first.
That was tough, man.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Let Mike go first.
It was definitely tough, but definitely challenging,
Yeah.
you know. Because, like you said, like, you know what I mean? If he wants to be a father, but he has to be a coach at the same time. But there was times where he would have the assistant talk to me. Like, sometimes you would have Marty talk to me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And, like, Hawkeye, Cornell, you know what I mean? And but it was definitely challenging, you know what I mean? Because like you say, you wanted the best out of me.
Yeah,
you know, all you wanted was the best out of me. I remember one time we got arguing in practice. This was my senior year.
Okay.
I didn't want to dress up. Yeah, the dress code. You know, you had to dress up to go to a away game.
Yeah.
I didn't want to dress up, right? So we going back and forth, right? You know what I mean? I'm the captain of the team.
Why you want to dress up?
I was in my little young days.
Yeah.
I did not want to dress up, and so he just snapped at me. So he's like, "Mike, you shut the hell up." And he was like, I'm talking to you as a father, not a coach, right? So D. Riggins, he's like, just chill out, Mike, because he seen it was getting heavy, like, you know what I mean? So that next day, I guess you said something to Bell.
I don't know.
Somebody, yeah. But the next day, Bell took me into his office, like, it was like, Mike, you understand, like, at the end of the day, this is your father. You know what I mean? You're also a captain of the team, so the players on the team is looking how y'all talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be a leader as well. So, and it's crazy because now, you know what I mean? I dress up before COVID, I dress up to go to work. You know? Right. But yeah, so it was challenging.
Yeah. And for you?
Well, you know, the biggest challenge was, and it was a hurt because I didn't truly get to enjoy his career. I couldn't say things that like I look at Mike Stanford sitting in the stands, watching little Mike, and he's cheering, good game, son. You know, and my brother Bobby said it to Christopher and to Brandy, you know, and me, I had to try to keep the coach's head on. You know,
it's hard,
and it was not for me, but it was protecting Mike because I didn't want people to say Mike was getting playing time because I was his father. Mike got playing time because he deserved playing time.
He deserved it.
You know, so it was hard, you know, but it was a joy to coach him and a joy to push him. And I was thinking about it on the way down here. I said, you know, one thing, wasn't for Mike's mom, he probably wouldn't even be able to walk right now because this was the time he had a sprained ankle. And one year he had a broken ankle, I think. And I was still trying to play him, and Monica would say, "You better not put him right there."
Broke our ankles the same tournament.
Well, it was one AU tournament with him, Jones, and Connor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have 3 of them, and we still end up winning the championship thing, you know. But that was the hardest part, you know, trying to be a coach, and you still gotta be a father and love your son. But you can't say to him, good game. I couldn't even, you know, at times in the paper.
Yeah, I know.
It was
I read,
you know, everything, every
article.
article.
It wouldn't tell and we'll get there, but it wouldn't tell his career was over.
Yeah.
That it was like that you finally said in there that was your son. I remember reading that.
And it was tough, and it hurt because having a kid that worked as hard as Mike.
Man.
You know, which father would be as proud of him as I was. But he knew I was proud.
I definitely know.
We would get a chance sometime going home. after we dropped off everybody else, we could have a
Yeah,
father-son
that's all
talk.
you right to everybody else.
And he knew how much I loved him and how I appreciated him.
Mhm,
And I knew how much he loved me and how hard he played for me.
mhm. Yeah,
But definitely said it was a blessing because, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
how many kids get to, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
enjoy that time with their father that
that's
much,
true.
you know what I mean,
That's true.
especially black kids.
that's true. That's
So,
true,
you know
man,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
So-
A lot of absentee fathers. back
Right.
then, Yep. So that's a good point.
Definitely a blessing.
And I think speaking for a teammate and a friend who, you know, was there with you guys, one thing about it is Mike was good.
Yes.
So it was easy for us.
Yes.
Like it never was like if Mike wasn't good
Yeah.
and you played him, then I'm sure we would be like, but I can say this and all the guys we played with that's out there, Gary, Skinner, all of them will say the same thing. It was never a time where we was like, why Richard got Mike in? Never. Because like you said, this boy worked so hard, whether it was shooting the basketball, whether it was defense, whether it was hustle. Yeah, I used to always tell me in the wild said, if I got you and Turtle on my team, we ain't gonna lose. And that's most how you know what I mean, because he played that hard. So it was never a point where we was like that we had a problem with it
Right.
because of how it was. And then also, which was different, and this couldn't be like this for everybody, but it was like this for you and me and Gary and everybody played for you, that we very rarely called you coach.
Right.
Most time we called you Richard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And some people might not understand that because it wasn't a lack of respect. You know, to me, it was more respect because, you know, you were so personal with us that we could call you that, but
Right.
you could still dig in this.
Right.
He would still dig in this. And we always tell them, so we're going to tell something today, you know, if we need the PG version, the PG version, you know, but that you could always do that, you know. So again, you know, I appreciate that. And I'm glad that y'all got to share about that dynamic. Talk about the success y'all had AAU, because, you know, playing for Hall, you know, we had some good tournaments and we won a couple, but nothing like y'all. Y'all got to go all the way to the States, and you guys did some great things. So whoever wants to start, let's talk about the run y'all made in the States, and then actually let me go like this. Mike, you talk about the run y'all made to the States and how that was, and Richard, I want you to specifically talk about how it was to coach Lee Jones as well.
I think it was, you know, it was a great accomplishment for us, you know, especially the way we had started off. You know,
It was rough.
It was rough, like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And
A lot of L's early.
yeah, we took a lot of L's early.
Yeah.
And then once we got like those Cambridge boys
Yep.
to come through, Jones,
Yep.
Moore, Ty Johnson, and all them,
Mhm.
Pink.
Yep.
It was like at first we was like kind of looking at him like,
Yeah,
like we don't need this.
we was.
Yeah.
Like, why here? Like,
Yeah, why
yeah, we
here?
was.
You
Like,
know
come
what I
on,
mean?
man. Like,
Like it's Eastern, you know.
we
what I
didn't
mean?
understand it. Yeah.
Right, so,
Yeah.
but after that, once you know what I mean, once we started playing with each other, oh, they, you know what I mean, they can hoop,
Yeah,
they respect us, respect them, you know what I mean. It became like a brotherhood, you know what I mean.
Yep.
Once we got that chemistry going, the first I think nationals went to was Florida,
12 years old.
12 years old.
13.
No, 13,
13.
yeah. Yeah, and we played 6th in the nation. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, we played 6th in the nation.
Yeah. Nation, man.
Yes,
Sure. That was
yes.
what's up.
Right, and little kids from the shore, and we wasn't even big. Like I remember one team. Remember they laughed at us? Yeah, they laughed. Tall boy, they laughed. At us. Like, yo, this is who we gotta play. Laughed at us. We gave it to them. We gave it to them, man. And then, especially, yeah, playing with Jones and all them. Winnie, especially, I used to love playing with Winnie. Man, you together, man. Yeah, you know what I mean. Him at the top of the key, and he would turn them straight to me and out. You know what I mean. But then that second, I think we was 14. When we go to New Orleans?
I think it was 15. So we went 13. We didn't go 14. We went 15, 16, 17.
Okay, so yeah, so then we went to Nationals again at like 15. We went to New Orleans. I think we placed like 8th or something there. You know what I mean? And then, so that was fun. You know, all the accomplishments there. Then I think our last one we went back to Florida. We was 17, and that's when we got a couple of the South boys. We got Aaron, Wyatt, Cornell, and Edwin. Edwin, yeah, and Dwayne played with us for a long time.
Dwayne played,
yeah. So,
I forgot about
so
that.
when we got them, it
It
was really, yeah, you know, we really turned up there. And Yost, so yeah, so that team, you know what I mean, that's probably one of the best teams I ever played on.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Well, we didn't have that chemistry, but
y'all the raw talent.
We had that raw talent, you know what I mean? So,
easy for y'all to
yeah.
And who was some of the, just name for some of the people, who name some of the other guys that you played with on those state teams? You know, Brian Richards.
Brian Richards.
People might know.
Mike Bell,
Mike Bell,
Ty Johnson, Jones, Moore, Pink. Cornell. I think Andy moved up with us a couple times.
Yeah.
Nace moved up with us.
D-Ricks,
D. Ricketts,
Connor,
Connor.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Brendan.
Brendan the one pushed us to go to the first national.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Brendan,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Off the bench, push us.
Mhm.
Hit those three.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I gotta get him next season.
Yep, him and Connor.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's awesome. And then, Richard, being able to coach a talent like D. Jones, I was telling my wife, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, but wasn't it you that moved him to the point?
Yes.
And talk about that, because I was thinking about it. I said, man, I remember when Jones first came, he wasn't running point. It was Richard that figured out that he could handle the ball and move the point, and he just took off from there. So just talk about coaching the talent like him, because a lot of people don't know that. It started with you.
Yeah. D. Jones just had raw talent. Just raw talent. One of the, I would still say to today, one of the best high school ball players I ever saw.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
I remember when we got Ty, we picked up Ty and Juicy or Ty and somebody.
Yeah, Ty.
And then Ty kept saying about picking up DeAndre.
Yeah, because he didn't come at first.
Yeah, the first was a juice tie
Yeah.
eye.
Right.
And then when I finally got him, I said, "Where's that kid, Mr. Mean at?"
Oh yeah.
And they say he is Mr. Mean.
Yeah.
So we our first tournament with DeAndre and Ty, I think we our first year we actually won one game. And DeAndre said, "I ain't coming back." He said, "I ain't used to losing." So that winter, I took that whole team and we practiced all winter long.
Is that right?
And we came from winning one game to the next year, finishing sixth
That's what I said.
Division II
Yeah.
nation.
Yeah, y'all did it quick.
And I think what happened moving D to the point, I think Mike might have gotten in foul trouble, or I think I really needed Mike to do some shooting.
Yeah,
I think more or less needed Mike to do some shooting. And D could actually, he was taller, a little taller than Mike at the time.
Yeah.
And playing AAU, we run into taller guards at times.
Yeah.
So we needed somebody that could penetrate the zone, kick out the Mike now, and let Mike them shoot. And it was so funny because when I moved him to the point, he was actually going to quit.
And I know that because I remember talking to him about it. He said, "Man, Richard felt I could handle the ball a little bit. I ain't trying to run the point."
Yeah.
I
And he said to me, he said, "I'm not running the point."
Yeah.
And I said, "D, you run the point or you don't play." He said, "Well, I'll quit then." I said, "All right, well, quit then." But he ended up running the point, and he became a great point
He
guard.
became a great point guard, man.
I mean,
Like you said, one of the best high school players ever.
he was just a scorer,
Yeah.
But it was fun to watch him grow, watch him change, and it was even fun to watch coaching because his talent was so raw.
Yeah, it was.
I honestly, sometimes I even still tell Mike today, I said, "You know what? I don't. Sometimes I don't think even D scoring 25, 30 points. Sometimes I don't think he gave 100%.
I agree.
Honestly,
it was so easy for him.
yeah, it was so easy for him.
Yeah, I agree.
He just had raw talent.
Yeah,
I used to get mad when we wouldn't shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember one time he said he wasn't going to shoot no more.
We be in a tournament and we winning by 10, 15 points, and he'll stop shooting. And he said, "I ain't shooting no more till I start shooting."
Oh, those are the days. Man. And was I had so many places I want to go there because I remember those conversations. I'm just playing stuff back. And it's crazy because you're right. He did not want to run a point.
No.
He did not want to run a point. But just think how him starting running a point there, and then just how he took off from there. And so what was it? I know you said y'all practice every winter, but what was it? Just everyone developing more? Was it the team chemistry? Was it Jones getting better? Was it what do you think made y'all turn the corner and really start winning though?
Well, I think we got better as a group. We really got better as a group because Mike and Winnie developed a chemistry where
they knew
Mike was Winnie left hand, Winnie was Mike right hand. They knew
you going that song.
he knew where he was gonna be, and then we was playing we played a 1-2-2 zone press a lot, and a lot of times we put Jones up top of the press, and then Mike and Winnie be the next two. So it'd be like they would steal the ball, throw it to Jones make the layup. But it was a point of, like I said again, everybody knew where everybody was, and they worked together, and we worked hard. But the key was, I tell everybody, the key was it was practice.
Yeah.
You know, it was honestly practice, and I even got drilled by other coaches because, and I know they're listening.
Yeah, good.
But
good.
it
It's
was
a
like,
real sports fan.
they
We
was
keep
like,
it real on here.
They was like, we should, like, if this coach had 11 years old, he shouldn't have moved up with
Oh,
12. He should have kept 11 years old, and then should have another coach for 12, and another coach for 13, another coach. And I'm gonna be honest.
Nah. You go with your,
Well, no, I mean, the only problem I had with it
Uh-huh.
is I didn't see coaches putting in the time I was putting.
Oh yeah. And that's one thing.
You
Yeah.
know,
You was
and-
ball bag,
And
and you had the number 4 Chris Webber Michigan joint. I remember that.
I actually put in time,
Yeah. Oh, you did.
you know.
Yeah.
But it shows by 1 year you win 1 game, and next year you play 6 in the nation.
Yeah.
You know, that just shows the time.
It shows. Yeah.
You know,
it shows.
that not only that I put in, but the time that the kids was willing to put in with me.
Yeah, it shows. Yeah, like I said, y'all have some great AU teams, and not just y'all, but we even talk. Skinner and us talk a lot of times about, like, said, the James Bell teams, and Mike Stanford had his team, JR. What he did with Bunker Soup and them. So, it was great, and we still talk.
It was a lot of talent
Mhm.
in that organization.
Yeah, it was.
From the top team all the way down.
Yeah.
It was a lot of talent.
And I would still say sometimes that we probably didn't know really what we had. Like, I'm talking about as far as the players, because, like, looking back now, it's like, I mean, it was AAU. I mean, you got seen in any tournament. We didn't look at it like we just playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just having fun.
Right.
I can remember. I know Mike remember. Remember the first camp we went to that Richard made us go to? We went to the one at University of Maryland. It was me, you, Eric, I think DJ. I know it was us for sure. Man, we did not want to be there. We did not want to be there, man. Kids was picking on us, man.
We did not.
We hadn't been away from home. Like, we don't know. Like, we're from the shore, so we like, where are we going to camp for? Like, all this is new. Like, why are we going here? We crying. Like, what are we at camp? This, like, I'm in 8th, Mike in 7th. You know what I mean? But I appreciate that because we needed that, because after we left, we got that much better.
Right.
You know what I mean? That much better. And when we go through the timeline, we'll talk about the other camp as well that we got into. But again, we appreciate that push because we didn't know.
I thought y'all crop,
Man, we did not want to be in that mud, man. But then like after like the first probably day, we was like, oh man, it's cool here. Like we can play. They let us go swimming and we could eat. You know what I mean? So it was cool. We didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? But but now there was a particular time. Do you remember? You probably don't remember this. And I think maybe you. I don't know why we just maybe combined with teams this tournament, but we played in Dunbar one year for AAU.
Yeah.
Do you remember getting on me at the half that game? Because what happened was we were getting blown out, and maybe I probably wasn't as engaged as you wanted me to be, and and you can speak on it. I mean, when you used to say something to me before, I'm gonna get an attitude.
Right.
I'm gonna probably say something back to you. Like I told my wife all the time, I said, man, I love Richard. I said, man, because knowing now, as we go over to Mike, how young Richard was. I mean, Richard could jack me up, curse me out, punch. I mean, cause I said some stuff sometimes, and I apologize. Some ignorant stuff. I was just young, like, and I, you know what I'm saying. So so I apologize, but you never took it like that. But I remember that Dunbar tournament, and I'll never forget. We had a huddle, and I was sitting down in the huddle, and he's like, Lance, are you gonna act like you want to play or what? I'm like, Richard, I got my hand in the huddle, but he wanted me to stand up, I had my knee there. So normally I would have went out the second half and probably would have just threw the ball around that thing, but I was like, I'm a Sean. So I went out and never forget, and I hit like 4 threes in the second half. And I remember you coming to me after the game and being like, I'm gonna tell your mom, you really matured. You know what I mean? I really had turned that corner because again, I used to be a high head.
Right.
So and I was like, I think that was probably like the summer of 8th grade, something like that. But I remember that and Mike, I'll tell you how I know what tournament that was because rest in peace, Kevin Brummel. When we was on the bus that time, remember that time we was on the bus and it broke and he slid up on the bus. That's how I always let a story. He was trying to grab Yeah, say it.
I
Yeah.
guess the bus driver slammed on brakes.
Yeah,
and he
right.
was standing
He
up.
was saying enough.
And you know how you try to grip
Yeah.
the
He rolled.
seats,
Yeah.
the bus seats, but
Yeah.
his hands just kept sliding.
He rolled
And
for the
he just
front,
rolled like-
all the way to the
Yeah.
front of the bus and rolled up. So that's how I remember that so vividly because I remember that was that time, man. The rest of these Kevin, but that was a great time. So
R.I.P.
yeah,
Kevin.
for sure. So talk about getting into high school coaching. You reminded me before we went live that it actually started you being Mike Butler's assistant coach. Shout out Butts. Being Mike Butler's assistant coach. But what made you want to? Was that always the plan for you to try to get into high school, even though you're doing AAU? But what made you turn that corner and get in that?
Well, man, long story short, but really, as far as coaching, I didn't even want to coach. Like I said, if that didn't happen in time, I probably would never been a coach. But after I got into coaching, I started enjoying it.
Mhm.
And coaching at the Y, and I was working at the Y also, and Butler was working at the Y. And so by me coaching the kids and knowing all the kids, Butler asked me to be his assistant.
Mhm.
And I think I was Mike's assistant for 2 years.
No, 1 year because because if you was Lance coach,
Yeah. I was my ninth grade year.
that was Butts. I mean,
Butts only
was he?
Butts only coached that 1 year, JB. And the reason I know because when I went up 10th grade, you were coaching Mike and them as a head coach. Because I was mad because I wanted to stay down.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started.
Yeah.
He asked me to coach.
Mhm.
I mean, be his assistant,
Mhm.
and I came on as his assistant, and then it went from there.
Mhm.
And when he ended up being, I think he took over varsity 1 year. The year before, year before I became the varsity coach.
Yeah. My 11th grade.
He was the varsity coach, and he told me he was probably not going to come back.
Mhm.
And he was going to put in a word with Jody.
Mhm.
Shout out to Big Jody.
Yeah, shout out Jody, man. Shout out Jody.
And Jody took a chance on me, and that's how I became Eastern High School coach. It was a great journey.
Yeah. Great journey.
Great journey.
Let's get into the journey. Because I remember even before getting the varsity, like I said, I remember how good y'all was JV my 10th grade year. Because again, you had Mike, you had Winnie, you had Turtle and Twan. They were 10th grade, but they were still on JV.
Right.
You had them. I want to say you had Connor. I'm missing a couple more, but y'all had a squad.
Yeah.
And I remember being mad, and again, you always talk to me like a son, and I understood it because they're my friends.
Right.
So I wanted to stay down. I wouldn't think about, going up.
I remember the tough going up.
Yeah. And I was like, come on, Richard, man. You coaching. Like this gonna be fun. But he was like, nah, I gotta go up. So I was mad, for a little while about that, but I understood.
Right.
But y'all had a great team that year, and I think y'all maybe only lost to maybe Cambridge the one. I think split on the or Mike.
This was
Lost to Cambridge and
Was somebody else y'all lost?
yeah.
Was it?
It was something. I think did we beat Pooh Bear? We beat Pooh Bear though.
Yeah, y'all beat him.
But one year-
Bear had a good game, but
Yeah,
y'all beat him. I remember that game.
1 year we lost 1, and 1 year we lost 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Second year we lost. My sophomore year we lost 1. First year we lost 2.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not
okay,
sure,
okay,
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I actually think it was Cambridge twice.
Was it Cambridge? Y'all
Yeah.
lost both times to
It was
Cambridge.
Cambridge twice,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Because I remember we lost to them away,
Mhm.
and then we lost to them home because I remember Twan got a block or something that they
And
called
they called
foul.
y'all. Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah.
they called
Because
foul.
Swan was fight like that, even though it was a block.
Yeah,
Sometimes he did like that. They would just
yeah.
call foul. Yeah. That's a
So,
good point.
And somebody went to the free throw line
Yeah.
and they hit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
games every year.
Yeah.
So we lost 2 the first year.
Yeah.
Well, my freshman
Your
year.
freshman year,
Then my sophomore year we lost.
And that's true because then sophomore year, Ricks had a real good JV.
Yeah,
I
he
remember
killed
Right,
he,
right.
he had a real good year.
Yeah.
So he had like 26 or something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy on JV. So cool. So like I said, you get the varsity job. So now again, I'm a actually no. Let me stop. I'm gonna give you something. I bet you don't remember. I'm glad I thought of this. Do you remember? Now you were still coaching JV, but I was on varsity. We lost to Queen Anne's my 11th grade year. You remember that? What happened? We lost. We only lost by like 3, and we were fooling around with them, and we were up, and then they came back and beat us. Do you remember that game? The reason I say that because I never forget we had back-to-back games. We played Queen Anne's at home, And then the next night we played North Carolina. And we only lost to North Carolina by 1, and I missed the game winner. You remember that sequence? The only reason I say it because you might not remember about how I played, but I never forget. I got on the bus, you know, I go to North Carolina, and never forget Turtle and Donnie was like, "You left out," because I was mad because we lost to Queen Anne. So I was, that's the only time ever I left out the locker room still with my Warrior stuff, my shorts. I was pissed. Like, there was Queen Anne's, and I had a good game. I had like 20 something, but I missed a key box out. You know what I mean? And the guy got the box out and he scored. And then, you know, that kind of, you know, that helped him a lot. And I remember the next day, Turtle and Donnie said, Richard was mad with you. He came there and said, man, Lance missed the box out. He ain't played no ball all year. I don't know what's going on. I was like, he ain't played ball all year. So I just came off averaging 23 games for a 3-game stretch. So the next game, again, you might not remember, you were Butler, but we played North Carolina in North Carolina. Close game. Caddy was on fire. I'll never forget. He had 28. He had like 7 threes, but I did not shoot the ball. I had 6 points, but I would not shoot. And that's how mad I was. But y'all, you probably I'll give you this. That Richard like me like y'all. I was. That's how I was. I would not shoot. I had like 5 6. I would just shoot. I was passing the ball. I said, well, he said I ain't playing. I'm gonna pass it. He wasn't even my coach. That's what was crazy. Like that's the stuff, you know. And again, that's 11th grade. But you don't remember that. No. Yeah. But that's what they said. I was hot. So transitioning to my senior year. Do you remember how worn out you was after their first game playing North Carolina?
The very first game.
The very first game. Because they even said in the paper, they said a worn out Richard God talked about the game and said that we got a lot of work to do. So we got a lot of work to do. So what do you just remember about, like you said, how difficult that first game was? I think part of that was we had a snowstorm early on.
Right.
We hadn't got to practice a lot. Gary was there.
Yeah.
You know, we were trying to implement, you know, him and we had Big Derek, you know what I mean? So what do you remember though about your first win? Your first coaching victory?
The very first win was, the toughest thing was, you know, that I was again trying to do the father and coach and father and player thing.
Yeah.
And I started 5 seniors.
Yeah, you did.
I started 5 seniors.
Gary at the point.
No, Turtle.
No, Turtle. You
So
started Gary at the
yeah.
point. Twan was the 5th senior.
Twan was the 5th senior.
Turtle then started.
Okay, well anyway, I remember
Turtle came out with 6.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember we was down 10 points. At this time,
Yeah.
Turtle was in the game.
Yeah.
We was down 10 points. And I remember my brothers, Mike Stanford, they sat behind me hollering about, put Mike Blake in the game.
Mm-hmm.
My brothers them hollering, put little Mike in the game. And I'm trying to run these seats. I done made like 2 or 3 substitutions. And I think little Mike hadn't been in yet. So I put little Mike in. Turned the whole game around. We went up 10.
Yep.
So we come back out the second half. I went back with the starters. Went back substituting like I was. Went down again.
Sure did.
Had to go again.
Yep.
I remember and Mike Stanford saying, "Oh, what you trying to lose the game?"
Mike going here too because he already commented on it myself.
put Mike Blake in the game. So I finally put Mike Blake back in the game and turned that game around.
He did.
And we won that game. That was my first game as a varsity head coach.
Yeah.
And I was wore out.
Mm-hmm.
You guys wore me out.
It was a close game.
We should have played better.
Yeah, definitely.
But I also should have coached better.
Yeah, we should have.
You know, and I tell you, it was great to have little Marty as my assistant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because he would challenge me.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, and not a challenge where it was bitter.
Right.
It was a challenge where he made me better as a coach because Marty was so smart, man.
The plays we talked about it on Monday.
The plays he would,
or Tuesday.
I mean,
man.
not only just as a player, but as a person on know, Marty's probably one of the smartest ball players I ever met.
Yep.
Because he has the mindset of a coach and a player.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, and he would get on me about Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he would see things, and that's why I let him deal with Mike. You know, with a lot of things.
Yeah.
and he would take Mike with him, take Mike aside with him,
Yeah, he used to have me after practices running
and just work with Mike. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I allowed that because I
Yeah,
trusted him,
point guard,
and
you
I
know, point
and I
guard.
knew where he came from. I watched him grow up.
Mhm.
You know, but after that game, I think that made me, you know, coach different.
Mhm.
And I had
Yeah.
to say that. I had to say, guess what? You know what? No matter what nobody say,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if Mike belongs in the game,
Yeah,
then he's
yeah,
going to be out there.
yeah. No.
You know, and I think from that game forward,
He started on.
it
Yeah.
started on. He
No.
still didn't start.
I
You
think
know,
he started next game.
No, he didn't start the next
Did he
game.
start against Cambridge?
No, that started.
No.
Oh, okay. So it was after that.
Yeah.
it was after that
Okay.
game.
Okay.
After the Cambridge game,
Okay.
that's when I
Okay.
started starting. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But, and that actually turned our season.
It did. It did. It turned
You
on.
know?
See, and going back to that game for a second, because that's always one of the games we, talk about because of the dunk Gary had obviously on Andrew Markey going baseline. That's when he had the one hand.
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
the guy that Gary had on him.
Skinning through all the
Yeah, it's
candy
gonna
on
be
the
the
floor.
candy on the floor and all that. But but I'm glad you said that because I remember specifically about the game. Mike, when he first came in, he got a block. Man's 5'7", probably maybe 5'7". You know, so came in, got a block. For the game, he ended up with 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 block shots. So Mike was the first person, and I'm gonna tell you how Mike helped me, because Mike was the first person that I seen that could dominate a game without scoring.
Yes.
I've never seen anybody, and I'm even trying to think now to this day, honestly, that could do that. So that allowed, honestly, that helped me being with Gary and Cat, because again, you gotta understand, my senior year, a lot of people forget this. You my third coach in 3 years.
Right.
I had Buck Miller 10th grade, whole different system. I was on the wing then.
Yeah.
Get Mike Butler, complete different system.
Right.
I went back down low, and now I'm playing for you. Even though we got a great relationship, you technically haven't coached me in a while, even though you helped our system.
It's still a different system.
But it's still different.
Yeah.
It's still a whole nother system. So Mike helped me because I'm like, okay, well, just like me and Gary talk about, Gary, you can do whatever you need to do scoring, because I know I can score other ways, or I can affect the game other ways.
Right.
And watching Mike help that. But I understand what you're saying, because your whole thing was not only is Mike his son, but Mike's a junior. So you're probably thinking like you don't want to step on either our senior toes, or you worried about people, what about people going to say. But you're right. It turned that game around, and it turned our season around.
Yes.
Because I even remember, even though the next game we lost to Cambridge, when really we shouldn't have played Cambridge that early, it was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
So
Right,
we
right.
supposed to play on like the 4th game. We weren't ready for them yet.
No, definitely.
But I remember Mike coming in second half. You put him on D Jones, remember?
Yeah.
And he locked D Jones down that second half, because Mike could tell you when Mike used to guard me at the Y stuff, I hate Mike guarding me because he would get under you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't post him up. He would take the charge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't try to shoot over, and he right there. So Mike was just so smart. He was so ahead of his time. But you're right. It really turned the season. What do you remember about the talent we had on that team? As a whole, and you could talk whether it's before the season or even those first couple games of that season before the Christmas break.
Yeah, well, that team was very talented, and I mean, SU, they took the games from us.
Yeah. Yep.
I honestly, right to this day, think if they didn't take the 6-7 games,
Yeah, 6.
we would have had first seed,
Yep. Whole family different.
and I think we would have went all the way. They took Derek from us for no apparent reason.
That was a big love.
Yeah.
Ended up not even
Yeah.
getting a charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Gary's situation.
Yeah.
But what I did, I really appreciated it showed how talented the team was,
Yeah.
because
We lost one game.
even without them, we still only lost one game. I mean, we jailed,
Yeah.
and we went on and we balled, and we were successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so happened, in the playoffs that we fell short.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a talented team, and sometimes I look back, I wish Turtle could have got to understand it and stayed there, because we needed somebody to back up Mike. You know what I mean? And he could have been that guy.
Yeah.
You know. But it was a very, very talented team. It was a very good team to coach.
And that's one of the things that Marty even said on Tuesday. He said the same thing. He thought it was a state championship team.
Yeah.
And we had the time to do it. And one thing about this, and I do want you to get a little bit into the Gary situation, and then Derek as well. What's crazy is, okay, after All-Star break, after the Christmas tournament, we had remember we lost to Dover, you know what I mean? But that helped us. That time I felt like we really jailed.
The little Kermit.
That was over Colonel.
Yeah.
We really jailed.
You lost Newman?
Yeah, we lost
Yeah,
to
we lost
Dover.
Dover,
And I'm gonna tell you what happened. Because don't forget, we didn't have Cabbie that whole tournament. Cabbie didn't play that Christmas tournament because he got in trouble a couple games before that. We had an incident at Queen Anne's.
Yeah.
Right.
That's messing with. So we didn't have Cabbie, so we blew Colonel out. And then after we blew Colonel, we played Dover, and we were beating Dover the whole game. Gary got in foul trouble, and then they started pressing us the third quarter. And I take blame for that because I didn't go in the middle as I should to break that press.
Right.
And then they ended up, but it helped us because after the break we played Ken Island, and and I want Mike to talk about that game because Mike, you came out that Ken Island game on the road because I don't know if you remember, but we had that mentality like, listen, unfortunately Jones had messed his ankle up.
Right.
Yes.
So we knew that they were probably going to blow a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we knew that, okay, they blow a game, we keep winning, we'll be tied.
Right.
And North Dorchester was good too. You know what I mean? And North Dorchester actually the ones that ended up beating. So we played Ken Island, they lost to North Dorchester, and then we played Ken Island. Talk about the Ken Island game on the road. You remember the game I'm talking about? You hit the threes at the
Oh, when I came out hitting that three, yeah.
Yeah, just talk about your mentality that game and what made you come out shooting like that, because normally you don't. You know what I mean?
I think they was running a zone or something.
Yeah.
And pretty much my mentality, I remember I was working with Marty after practice and
Mhm.
stuff, like just shooting stuff like that. And Marty was just telling me, like, you know what I mean, like everybody can score on this team, but it was like you gotta shoot. You know what I mean? Marty was telling me you gotta shoot more. Like you were saying, you gotta keep them honest. You know what I mean? So so my mentality that game was like, all right, well,
Mhm.
they give me the open shot, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I came out, hit that first one.
Yeah.
Then I hit that second one, you know, and
Yeah.
I came back down, hit that third one. I bought him right out
Yeah.
that zone,
Yeah,
right?
bought him out.
Yeah, bought him straight out
So
that
we
zone.
got
So
your
that
ass.
opened up everything. Yeah, that opened up everything else for everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then that's when you started taking,
Yeah.
like, you know, what I mean, you and Gary started taking
No,
over.
it did.
So that opened up a lot of stuff. So
It did. And it did that a lot of games, you know what I mean? Because you also did it against St. Michael's too at home.
Oh, yeah.
You had 16 that game, you had like 4 or at the top of the key. And then now you saying him working with Marty, it makes sense because
Yeah.
Marty's senior year at the point guard,
yeah,
top of the key,
Top
y'all
of the
give it
key,
to me.
yeah, exactly.
You know what
Go
I'm
give
saying?
it to
So
you.
it makes sense. Now going to the Gary situation, what's crazy about that and about Derek too is this: we played Snow Hill, and you even said in the paper we were finally starting to jail. Like we were finally now, getting ready to really play our best ball because we finally started jail and Gary was comfortable. Gary had 32 and 3/4, and then the next game, then after that, that's when the eligibility issue that they say we did something wrong, but again, we didn't do anything wrong. We explained this a couple weeks ago. It's nothing that we did. Is there anything that maybe even as kids you couldn't tell us about that situation because obviously you wanted to make sure we kept playing and kept our composure, kept our confidence? Was there anything that you want to add about that eligibility issue about how
Nah, because right to this day, I still don't understand it because Gary was able to come back to the school.
Yeah.
He was able to still move over here
Yeah.
and live where he was living. Which I think was with you and your mom for a while.
Yep.
So nothing changed.
Another change.
I honestly sometimes I think people just have it out
Mhm.
and they just do things for spite.
Yep.
And it all came from us beating St.
Beat St.
Michael.
Michael's. That's what I said.
And their coaches.
Yep.
They cried and they went and hollered. He was an elder because the biggest thing was
Show one.
they tried to say that they say I was recruiting players.
Which is negative. Then another situation.
And then I even, you can ask Gary, his mom, his dad,
Mhm.
when we set up in Columbia to the meetings.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah.
They let me get out of school to go.
And I sat there and I told him, I said, you know what? If I was recruiting players,
Mhm.
I would recruit D. Jones.
Yeah, right.
And not taking up from
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah. No,
But
I
I mean,
but
D was the one that I was had a relationship with. I was coaching.
Yeah.
But Gary, right to this day,
Mhm.
Gary had no hard feelings
Mhm.
about nothing. Gary did nothing
Did
wrong.
nothing wrong.
His parents did nothing
Nope.
wrong.
It was
You
a
know,
paperwork issue with the board of education.
Yeah.
Whoever Talbot County. That's what it was.
And the thing about it is, when it boils down to it, once they gave him eligibility to be in the school,
Mhm.
which that comes from the board
Yeah.
office and not
Yeah,
from the coaching or
Exactly.
not even from the principal
Exactly.
or
Good
vice
point.
principal.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it came from the board.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
You
point.
know,
Yeah.
He's eligible
Yeah.
to play.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. That's true.
so
Yeah.
even to take those games, and that's what I couldn't understand when we were sitting in the meeting when they said, well, he got to set out,
Right.
So
yeah.
many
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. Me and Gary talk about it. Like, why?
and then you can, but we're gonna take these games,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, huh?
but then he can come back.
Come
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was one
Yeah.
it was one hard to
Yeah, it
swallow.
was. It was. How did you keep us? I mean, you and Marty both, and I'm obviously, I was a captain on the team, as well. But how did you keep us engaged? Because you got to understand again, we were tied for first place.
Right.
Us, Cambridge, and North Dorchester were all tied. And I don't know if y'all remember, but the week we had coming up was Ken Island. When we played Ken Island that Monday, that Wednesday Cambridge, that Friday North Dorchester.
Yeah.
And we swept that without Gary.
Right.
But, even though we were in the first place. So imagine we had Gary,
Right.
we would have took that over and been in first place by ourselves.
Right.
And we would have kept on going. So how did you keep us engaged? I mean, again, we kids, we were mad, sad. I don't know if you remember the first game after against Mardell, we didn't play good because mentally we just wasn't there.
Right.
definitely.
But after that, I think it was maybe another snowstorm, so we had a couple extra days. So how did you keep us engaged to keep on winning? Because
Well,
we didn't miss a beat still.
I honestly remember if y'all, I don't know if y'all remember, down Mordella,
Mhm.
my old high school coach came in the locker room, Mac Hayward.
Oh wow!
Y'all remember that?
I do remember.
I remember.
I remember
damn,
somebody.
I
coming
remember
back.
that.
Yeah, Mac Hayward
Wow.
came in there
Wow.
and he was screaming at me, talking to me like he was still coaching me, and he was telling me he was getting in Big Derek case.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He
Okay.
was telling Big
Yeah.
Derek how he should be posting
Yeah.
up and what he should be doing. And then after the game, he sat down and he told me, he said, you can't worry about what's gonna happen. You gotta keep going.
Right.
And that planted a bug in my ear because honestly, I was coaching, but I still had a little hot headed in me at the time.
No, you.
But after he grilled me about that situation, and you got to keep on, and you can't change what's gonna happen. You got to keep moving forward.
Oh, okay.
You got to keep moving forward, guy.
Okay.
And that made me just push you off.
Yeah.
And honestly, with him saying that, and then having an assistant like Marty, because he ain't no quitting that Marty.
Nah.
He's a born winner.
Yeah.
So he just figured out this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
This the move we're making.
Yeah.
Me and him was able to sit down and say, well, we'll put this person in this position, and we'll move this around, move that around, and it worked.
Yeah, it did. It was amazing. I mean, because again, after that, we had that big week. Like you said, we beat Ken Island, who, if you remember, when we beat them the first time, we had Garrett. They didn't have their best players, which was Braun Tell. He didn't play the first time.
Yeah.
But the second time at home, they get him back. But we don't have our best player. But we blew them out pretty much.
Right.
We play Cambridge. Obviously, they back and forth, and then they go up 10. Cabby get hot. We fight back. We win that game by 1. Then play North Dorchester. Derek has 15 points, 14 rebounds, 5 block shots.
Yeah.
He dominates the game. I have 18, 20, something like that, and we win. Then we play St. Michael's, and I read in the paper with the St. Michael's, you were hot with us against somebody. I never forget. Halftime of that game. First of all, I had no business playing. Michael, you remember I hurt my ankle against North Dorchester, right? So I really had no business playing, but I wanted to play. I wanted to be out there. I never forget, man. Yost, the first half, man, Yost had to have like 15.
Yeah.
And you got me at halftime. You said, Lance, I know you're not 100%. I know your ankle's not that good, but I need you to get up in his. That's what he was gonna say. All right. So I said, and again, back in the day, I probably would have pushed back like, "Come on, Richard," But I said, "You're right." Third quarter, he didn't score. Right. And Mike got hot in the third quarter. He ended up with 16, hit 4 threes in the third, and we just go from there. We just go from there. But going to Derek's situation, what's crazy with that is that against Colonel Richardson, Derek had 28 points, 11 rebounds, 11 blocks, and that's his last game he ever played as a Warrior. So it's like Gary had his best game, then he had to sit. Derek had his best game, so we never got to play that because then when Gary come back, we don't have Derek.
Yeah.
So we only got to play that team. Our team has won with 7-8 games, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
It's scary to think about
what we could have done. Yeah.
And the truth be told, Derek was slow coming.
Yeah.
And Dirk was just coming.
Man, he was.
Yeah.
That
He
curve,
was
yeah,
just coming
11 and
into
11.
the big man that we
Man,
needed him to
right,
be.
I'm trying to tell you,
You
man.
know, and once
Yeah.
again, I take my head off to Marty again.
Mhm,
Marty was putting a lot of time in with
mhm,
him
mhm,
in the post.
mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he was.
Mhm.
And Dirk was just coming into his own, you know. And honestly, Lord knows what Dirk might have
Yeah,
became.
yeah. Yeah, I thought
You
a
know,
couple weeks ago. he doing good,
I
too.
mean, I'm not saying no Division One, but he could have went to a
yeah,
junior
yeah,
college
yeah, for sure.
because
6'8",
because he
yeah.
was developing
Oh
skills.
yeah, he was.
You know what it was. Derek was one of those ones. He had played ball,
Yeah.
but I don't think he had
Nah, he
played
never did.
on a
Right.
good organized team.
Right. He played a little bit
Yeah.
10th grade, but he was real raw.
Yeah,
10th
yeah,
grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was just coming into his own.
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
I mean,
We had some wounds that year.
and-
Yeah, we definitely did.
at times it almost took me back to the streets.
Yeah, I believe that. Man, I'm telling you, it hurt, man. Like you know, even getting older, it took
almost
some while to
took me
get
back to the
over. It.
streets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did. So, do you remember your first playoff win? We played down Steve Decatur and beat Decatur.
Yes.
Cadby and Gary shot real good. I mean, everybody was hitting. D was hitting. Swan was hitting. Mike was hitting. I mean, it was just a 3-point barrage.
Yeah.
And remember the late great Bruce Wharton. You know Bruce Wharton passed from Muscat.
Oh, okay.
Coach.
Yeah.
He was at that game scouting.
Right.
And he took his players out, and they ended up playing a 1-3-1 against us
Mhm.
at home. And
Right,
that's how they
right.
beat us because
Right,
they got
right,
to
right.
see us and play with us. But you know, we got you that playoff win. But like you said, the seeding and everything would have been different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if we had kept our games. But you know, nonetheless, you know, it was a great season. When people still ask me, I say we were 16-4. I don't count those forfeits. We were 16-4 and lost 4 games, 1 to the North. And even if you wanted to count them, I don't know if y'all know, but we actually came all the way back and ended up being in second place.
Yes.
After losing all
Oh, yeah,
those
after
games.
losing
Yeah.
all those games.
Yeah. All
Losing
those
all those games. We
Hey,
still
well,
came
no.
all the way back.
not losing on.
Well, yeah,
Well,
thank you.
By them
By them
those
taking those
games.
games. Yeah,
taking those
yeah, we
games.
still ended up being second, but yeah, people ask me, we
That's
16-4. Those games we actually lost 4 games. We lost to Cambridge, the second game of the season, and we lost to the 3 South team. Remember, we beat Snow Hill, but we lost to Wild High, we lost to Chrisfield. That was the game Gary came back, and then we lost to Bennett in the playoff. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
but great season, great first season for you. What was it like, you know, after we graduated with Mike and them senior year? Because, you know, you had really kind of a 6-man rotation going because you had Mike, you had D Ricketts, you had Rob, you had Skinner, you had Little, and DJ. Thank you. DJ came back. So what was your mentality that year? Because if I'm not mistaken, Little started the first 2 games of the year, but then you brought Little back off the bench because he played better off the bench. He had averaged maybe like 8 points start, but then you took him on the bench, he averaged like 15.
Yeah.
So what was your mentality just going that season, losing the senior that you lost?
Well, after losing the season, we lost a lot of height. You know, a lot of height, a lot of talent, a lot of leadership. Because you and Gary both was great leaders. You know, even though still had Mike there as a leader. And D was a leader, but D was
So you made it, then you
Oh,
won.
he made it on that.
he was a clown, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to stay on him all.
You got right on time, yo.
Stay home and had all the time. But that year, it was like we didn't. We had the talent, but I don't know if coaching didn't push them enough, or it just was the backups wasn't ready. Because I honestly think who did I have back in New York? Marcus or Boo at the point? Marcus.
Boo and Marcus.
No, yeah,
Both of them.
Both
Both
of them.
of
They were
them.
young guard. Yeah,
You know,
young guard,
and they would get rattled real easy. And teams noticed that. You know, we played against coaches that knew the game.
Yeah.
You know, Cam knew the game.
Yeah.
You know, High coach knew the game.
Perry from North Carolina.
Yeah, Perry knew the game. So they would see if I took Mike out, they could rattle Boo and Marcus in a heartbeat. You know, so but we still had a great season.
Yeah, y'all did.
You know, we still had a great season. You know, but the biggest thing was just trying to get everybody to come together. You know, I don't think we I don't think we jailed like y'all did the first year.
Do you remember the big win?
Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't think
But
we
I tell
jailed.
you what, though, y'all might didn't joke. I tell you what, y'all had. I know y'all had some bad losses, and I get it that, but I remember being at the game with me and Ty. We went to UMS together. Me and Ty Johnson. We
Right,
were at UMS together, and we said, man, let's go down to watch Easton and Bennett at home. Remember, Bennett was undefeated. Y'all beat them.
Yeah, we beat them.
Skinner hit the game win. I remember running on the court. I was telling Skinner the other day, and y'all beat them. So it was a game so where, like you said, y'all played real good because, if I'm not mistaken, at one point y'all had won like 5 straight, and I think y'all were 6-2 at one point, and then it was just that middle ground. Y'all hit a little bit tough stretch, and what actually did it also, Mike talked about the ankle injury.
Yeah.
You had the ankle injury that year,
That
and that's
definitely
probably when you
hurt,
was talking about
Yeah.
his mom telling you you ain't gonna play. You ain't gonna play my son because his ankle was real bad. And also, I tell people all the time, I take nothing away from St. Michael's beating Easton. That's the first time they beat Easton in a long time. But Mike, both of those games, I know one of them he didn't play at all. The other one,
Yeah,
he
the
got
second
hurt
game,
again. Yeah, but just talk about the ankle injury and then just having to watch the St. Michael's loss. That was tough.
That's, I think I heard against Ken Island.
Yeah, it was Ken Island.
Yeah, it was Ken Island. It was Ken Island. Got hurt my ankle against Ken Island, and I remember it was crazy because you put D at the point, and D was like, "I can't run the point." Like, he looking at you like, "I can't run the point." Like, you know what I mean? And D tried to run the point. As soon as he crossed half court,
They picked it.
they picked him. And so you went on put Bull in the game. And he's like, "I told you I couldn't run point." Like, so, but anyway, yeah, just sitting there, it was hurtful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just sitting there, not being able to help the team, and you know what I mean? Especially against that St. Michael's loss. That St. Michael's loss definitely crucial. I was there the first game. Well, I got in foul trouble the first game. The second game, I didn't play at all. And, so especially just watching and sitting there watching Miguel hit that last shot on us, you know what I mean? That 3-pointer,
Right.
you know what I mean? Or watching, we was up in the second half. It was like a minute left in the game.
Yeah.
And
53,
And
51.
you remember you had us running the motion,
Right.
and I'm thinking in my head like, darn, I wish I could be out there and run the motion because I know how to run the motion. Like I know I'm gonna take the time off the clock. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and like we end up losing the ball on the motion. You know what I mean? They come down, you know what I mean? And that whole situation where I think somebody missed a shot and DJ and Skinner grabbed the rebound and they called travel or something like that. You know what I mean? And then Miguel ended up hitting that 3-pointer off the backboard. So it was definitely crushing, you know what I mean? Sitting out there, not being able to help the team, you know what I mean? But wanting to be out there because there's been plenty of times when my ankle messed up, you would throw me out there.
Right.
You actually threw me in on the North Carolina game. We were losing, and he threw me out there. You threw me in on the North Carolina game. And somebody was like, why are you putting them in the game? I think Cornell was like, why are you putting them in the game? Y'all need them for playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because Ron was killing us and stuff like that. So you put me on Ron, and Ron would not go at me. It was funny because I'm like, go at me, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
He was like, nah, man, your ankle messed up. Like, he would not go at me. Like, it was crazy. He would not go at me. He was like,
Well, he didn't want to play the AU for Stu.
oh, yeah.
He was like,
Ron would not go at me. He was like, nah, man, your ankle messed up. He was like, so. But yeah, it was definitely hurtful just to sit there and, you know what I mean, watch the team not being able to help. So
Y'all still had, I think I was the 13-7 year. It still was a solid, real solid season, maybe 13-8, something like that. But also the game I went to, talk about the playoff game against Bennett. Because I remember, I know you saw because you even said in the paper, y'all played them the best anybody had played them that year. And if you think back, the first time y'all beat them, Omar wasn't there. Remember they had Omar. We talked about transfers.
yeah,
Omar transferred from Ardella.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. They do it in the softball time. Like I said, no big deal. But anyway, so they had Omar that playoff game, but y'all still didn't miss a beat between. I think Cornell had 20 that game. DJ 16. What do you remember about that game as a coach? Because y'all had them. Y'all had them.
Mike found out.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Mike found out, and like I said, coaches watch all year long, and they see, you know what, they ain't got no point guard. We can rally them, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Mike found out, and we rallied.
And Skinner missed that layup. I remember that. You know,
Skinner. You gonna see it.
My best pass ever.
You gonna see it. You
Yeah,
gonna
But
see
he
it.
balled that game, but my best pass ever.
But Mike found out, and we just got rattled. But when I also say we got rattled, and I also say like the two backup guards
There we go.
they was young,
Yeah.
but that's a point when it came down to coaching. I don't think myself and Marty, that's what we failed at. No, we didn't prepare them.
For that moment. I guess.
Yeah, we didn't prepare them for that moment.
Okay.
It's like that's probably like where
It kind of like y'all just threw them in the fire.
yeah. It was like something like we should have maybe early in the season in tight games,
Yeah.
even had you out there on the floor with them,
With them, yeah.
but move Mike to the 2 and let them run the point
I
while
see
Mike
you
was
saying.
out there.
I see you saying.
You know,
I see
so
you
it
saying.
was a learning process. But yeah, I think that came down to once again Marty and myself. We didn't prepare those two for that situation.
Right.
You know,
'Cause you weren't expecting me to get hurt. Like,
no, no. But back to the 2 set Michael game. You know what's so weird about that?
Mhm.
You know, the score of that game was the same score each time.
Was it really?
Upper.
Yeah,
70-69?
yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
And guess
Yeah.
what? If we went back to the home book,
Uh-huh.
we won the game at home.
Really? Well, they didn't count something.
If something happened and they took a point,
I think I do remember. that.
and but in the
Yeah,
book,
Uh-huh.
and see, this is for you young coaches out there now.
Yeah, for sure.
If you ever got a tight game,
Uh-huh.
always at the end of the game,
Uh-huh.
go to the home book
Okay.
because the scoreboard don't matter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
So
what's
in the
in
book.
the home book.
So what happened? Did you go to the book afterwards, or they wouldn't let?
No, but I can tell you what happened. Johnson's niece, Tony Johnson was JV's coach.
Mhm.
His niece was steady trying to tell me
Oh yeah, because she was going to Boston.
Yeah, that the score was wrong,
Mm.
but the refs had ran off the floor,
Wow.
and I'm just looking at the scoreboard,
Wow.
Right.
and honestly, never being in that situation,
Yeah.
didn't know the rules,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I got
you know. So then when I realized, when I read up on the rules and
Mhm.
talked to other coaches, and come find out that you go by
you.
the home book
Mhm.
at the end of the game, you don't go by the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Scoreboards mean nothing.
Right.
And really, we won that game
Wow.
in the books.
So that's the one at home.
Yep.
The one at home. Yeah, that's the one I went
Yeah.
to. Yeah. I
And
remember.
like I said, if you look at both scores, if you pull both scores up, both scores the same score.
Wow,
of
that's
the
crazy.
games.
That's crazy. And just it might make y'all mad all over again, but this how you was talking about Mike found out of that game. Now, Mike fed DJ for a 3. I know DJ on shout out to DJ Brooks, and y'all went up 52-40 with 4:43 left. And then what ended up happening was they switched to a 1-3-1, and we committed 3 straight turnovers, and it converted into a basket each time. And Mike, who also again another big assist game, also had 7 rebounds. He led you on rebounds that game. He had
He gets
7,
better.
he gets better. He had 7 rebounds, but yeah, he fouled out with 125 left, and East was down 56-52, and then from there they scored like 10 straight.
When they got that dunk, because we held them to no
Holmes had a
dunk.
2-hand dunk.
Yeah.
And then,
We held them to no dunk. So that's where they get their momentum.
yeah. Y'all was keeping John in
Yeah.
bed.
So
So we were playing at 2-3.
What was the score Mike fell out?
My foul out was 56-52
Yeah.
with 125 left. But y'all were up at one point 52-50 after DJ hit the 3 off of Mike's pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 52-50. Then a couple of turnovers, and then Mike fouled out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was good. I remember being in the game because me and Todd went since we were right on UMS, and man, y'all had them, and it just made me think back to the year before. I was like, darn, they basically got like the same team, except they didn't have Big Steve Perham.
Right. Yeah.
They had Omar Stead, but y'all played good.
Yeah.
Y'all were small,
Yeah.
but y'all fought with
We had a
them.
different game plan.
Yeah,
Because
like I said.
usually we would send Little on the rebound.
Yeah.
We would send Little on the fast break. This
Okay.
time we was like, Little, you stay back. Everybody stays in on
Yeah.
the
Everybody
2-3.
stay in.
Everybody stay in.
And I'm glad you reminded me
Yeah.
of something, because I told my wife I was going to get on Richard and get this laugh on him. One thing you said in the paper that year, Mike gonna talk right here, is that y'all going to live by the 3 and die by the 3.
Right.
And I said, hold up. The year before he ain't said that. Why he ain't let us shoot no 3?
We
I
were
said,
shooting
he let me shoot no 3s that year. You know what I'm saying?
We were shooting with Cat. He was with the one.
Yeah, when he said, I said, oh man, I said, wait till I get him. Cause he said that the year before, I would have fired him up. But yeah, I got a laugh out of that. But that's
We
y'all,
shooting
yeah,
with.
yeah.
We saw with.
But it was a
Cat
different
from,
type of team, so you had to play that way. I mean, we
Right.
had bigger guys and
Yeah.
penetrators and stuff like that. But that's funny. So I do want to get to after Mike graduated, so Mike, had a great end to his career. And what a lot of people don't understand, Mike made second team that year and averaged 9.5 assists for the year. What do you remember about that senior home? Because even though you had some injuries, you ended up making the second team.
Yeah, I remember making the second team, man.
Yeah.
But I just remember just pretty much that injury, man. It was like,
Yeah.
Just that injury, just sitting down, not being able to help the team, you know what I'm saying? But I think it was a good year. It wasn't a great year. You know what I mean? I think we could have did a lot better. Like I said, but I think we were just missing, like preparing those backup point guards. Like we thought we was gonna get Winnie back that year. Because remember, he came to school.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Winnie was cool.
Snap.
I remember in English class, he knocked on my door.
Boy,
He said, I'm back, cuz. I mean, and me and D like, all right, like we good. Like,
go ahead,
you know what I mean? Like we good this year. Like we got Winnie back, and then just things didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I ended up making second team, and then ended up playing in the All-Star.
Yeah, I was there. That was fun.
Yeah, now that game was fun.
You, Yost, Jones, y'all.
Yeah, me, Yost, Barb, Pink, Brendan, D-Ricks. It was fun because like it was pretty much like our old age.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what Yost said.
Yeah, so we just had that chemistry going on
and
stuff like that. So that game was so fun. Like, and for us to beat them, you know what I mean?
Y'all did.
You know what I mean? They was the South, they big, they all had the warm-ups, Duncan, Aaron, and all that. And everybody in the crowd like, man, they can whoop this out of people, you know what I mean?
Y'all put on, man.
Yeah, we definitely put on, guys.
No, what I like to see by you making the second team, to me, it was to me, for you, it was gratification, almost like a stand, because you were one guy that you never worried about individual stuff.
Right.
You always were the team first guy. So for you to be acknowledged by your individual stuff, because anytime you look at the paper, Mike fills the stat sheet up. Yeah, he might have 4.6 points, but that's by choice. But he had 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 steals. He everything in the stat sheet. So I was proud as a big brother to see that they acknowledge that, because everyone doesn't always see what's in between the lines. There's some people go always by big stats. So man,
especially with missing all those games.
Missing games that they still respect enough to put it in there. So it was dope. It was dope you being in there. And like I said, great season, great career. And before I get to your last year coaching, I forgot the other camp that we went to. You know what camp I'm talking about that we went to. I told you about the one in Maryland.
That one in Jersey.
Jersey?
You remember Jersey?
The outside camp? Yeah.
The outside joint.
Camp,
It was hot.
With that Italian guy.
Yeah, at the time. It was hot. I remember you picking us up, because you only told me like maybe a few days before, like, I'm picking y'all up on this camp. And to be honest, I hadn't even played ball. But like, Cam, you talking about, Richard? Yeah. He picked us up, we drive, and we're like, Cam, we outside. So I'm like, hold on. Like, where's the inside at? Because like the other one was at the inside dorm.
Right. Yeah.
But this one's outside. I remember it was Mouse running outside with me, you, D Jones, Pink. But you know what? In all seriousness, it was the best thing that happened to us, because the things we learned in that camp, it helped us going into that following year. That was right before my senior year, before his junior year.
Right.
So it really helped us. So again, man, we appreciated that, because it helped us tremendously. It really did. Hospital, again, Real Sports Fan Podcast. Appreciate everybody. Got Richard, got Mike Blake here. We talk about a lot. So this is great. I'm telling you, I'm having a blast. What was it like? How important was it coaching LT? I know one of the things you want to do was coach LT, and obviously the relationship you had with his dad. How was that for you? You had to finally coach him.
Again, man, it was coaching LT like coaching the son.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, honestly, coaching all y'all, because everybody was at my house,
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, coaching LT, it was great, because I could push him.
Mm-hmm.
LT had a button, and LT had to be pushed.
Mm-hmm.
He was always the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like Mike. You see that picture, and Mike DJ and Lil Mike's family. And LT the youngest one.
Yeah.
Everywhere they went, LT was always the youngest, so he was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to push him, and once you pushed him, and he found out what he could do, he just honestly, he took it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
He honestly took it to another level. But it was great. It was great to coach him. It was difficult at times. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because you guys lost off that team, 10 guys. You know what I mean? I mean, when Mike graduated, y'all lost 10 guys.
Yeah.
The ones that came back was Skinner, Marcus, and Boo. And obviously, like you said, Marcus and Boo, they didn't get a lot of game action as much as you like, but they were still on the
Right.
team. And they come in, like you say, you got LT, you got Bryce, you had Terrence Cole coming from, I think, Delaware, Dre, so y'all had, a lot of talent, young talent, but y'all did some good things.
But you know what I found out in coaching?
Mhm.
The teams that you saw that was most successful, they had a brotherhood
Mhm.
throughout the whole team, the chemistry.
Mhm.
Like when you look at, I don't know if y'all know much about Dwayne Cephas and West Cornerstone.
Yeah.
The team they had, Donnie O'Neill.
Yeah, we talk about it.
They had a brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then we looked at Marty,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shelton,
Yeah.
and Joe, and them.
Yeah.
They played together every day. They had a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Then the team that I had with you guys,
Mhm.
it was a brotherhood.
Mhm.
But I think, like I said, after that senior year with you guys, that brotherhood left.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
It was more just, it was more just, this is my teammate.
You
You see what I'm saying? And there's a difference on the court when you are, I'm out there playing for my brother,
Yeah.
or I'm out there playing for my teammate.
Yeah.
Even with
It's
my
different.
even with my AU squad, they became, even though we had Cambridge and boys from other towns, they became brothers.
Yeah.
Even we brought Aaron them in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, a lot of us still cool to this
Yeah,
day.
so they because of
you know,
that.
Aaron, even we
Yeah,
brought Aaron and Edwin in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
They
became
became.
like, brothers.
Yeah,
to
We
everybody.
walking them right on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's just like myself when we played basketball, league ball. My brothers with Fast Stop and all of us.
Mhm.
Mike Stanford, Mickey, and all of us. We was all brothers.
Right.
It wasn't just no team. We was brothers. So you die for your brother. You know what I mean? You out there court. You know what I mean?
It's different. Yeah.
You make sure I got my brother back.
Mhm.
When sometimes a teammate,
Yeah, you might be like, hey, all right, then go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're saying.
so because I know when we was the team that we had with Mike Senior year,
Mhm.
D. Ricketts and Skinner never really bonded.
Nah, they did.
Hey,
They'll say it.
hey, I know. Hey, D. Rick's over here now. I know Skinner be all right.
Yeah.
So they didn't really box. I didn't know that. They didn't really bond.
They never really bonded. One was hollering, one was shooting too much. He wanted the ball.
And they still
in the
like this
post
they
score.
argue about it.
You know what I mean?
They argue in the group chat all the time.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, think about it.
I
With
see
you
what you're
guys
saying,
that senior year,
Yeah.
you never said nothing about that to Cabby. Cabby never said nothing about that to Mike
Yeah.
or
Yeah, that's a
Big
good point.
Dirk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's different because you love each other and you want to make sure
Mhm.
everyone that this man. I want to make sure Lance get 15 points. I want to make sure Mike get 5 steals.
Mhm.
And that, like I said, that's how our AU squad when D Jones would say, "I'm not that day guy. I don't shoot. I ain't shooting no more."
Right.
Yeah.
Richard, I don't care. We win or lose. I ain't shooting no
Yeah.
more.
No, no, brotherhood, man.
But so that's just the difference of great teams, man.
Mhm.
And it's always a good like that. Great teams are gonna finish great
Mhm.
if the chemistry is there.
Right.
If the chemistry is not there. I don't care how good the coach is.
Yeah.
I don't care how talented the team is.
Mhm.
If you don't play together and you had a bond for each other, you're not gonna finish well.
Chemistry means a whole bunch.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, like with this different teams, like even when we had the debate about the Lakers and Clippers, I used to tell people like Lakers got better chemistry.
Yes.
You tell how together they were.
Right. Yeah.
When the Clippers, now more and more stuff coming out, like they wasn't together.
No.
And your point is very valid because you're right. We never had talks like that, like, you shooting or if anything, I got on Michael's about why he wasn't shooting.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people did.
Yeah, I mean, because if anybody could get him good on Mike besides you, I might go to him like, hey man, like, go ahead and shoot, and they can get on me too. So you really have to do that. But like you said, also like you gonna run through a wall for your brother.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, you're going to pick them up, you're going to run through the wall. So that difference I can see.
I'm going to tell you something about when I talk about chemistry.
Mhm.
Our AU squad has so much chemistry that
Mhm.
something happened at the hub night
Mhm.
one night.
Mhm.
And I think D. Jones got jumped.
Ag Center.
Ag
Ag
Center.
Center.
Ag
Y'all,
Center.
I'll never forget that.
D.
Y'all-
Jones got jumped and somebody else.
There wasn't no other players on
Mhm.
though. It was
Yeah, I think he was the
it
only
was just a
player.
couple came.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think, but a couple of our players was in it.
Yeah.
Winnie
it was.
KJ.
Yeah, it was. It was.
But just to show you how good chemistry is.
Mhm.
The next day we had a tournament
Oh yeah, we did.
and we had to play Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm.
And we lost Saturday, right?
I think so, yeah.
And now here KJ and Winnie had jumped on him, but he's telling us to call them
Wow.
To play, yeah.
because we need him to play.
Wow. That's
Because
real.
he wasn't gonna play. Yeah.
He said, if they don't come,
Wow,
he ain't playing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's real. That's real.
You know,
Wow, I never
and
knew that.
and we picked them up the next day,
Wow.
Yeah.
and they got on the bus.
Now, I remember you picked him up, and
Yeah.
I remember you wasn't even playing Winnie at first.
Yeah,
But this guard, some of those guards,
Uh-huh.
I ain't gonna lie, this guard was giving
Yeah.
it to me, right?
Yeah.
And so Jones tried to guard him.
they gave it to Jones.
Gave him to Jones. Gave him
Uh-huh.
to Jones. So Jones looking at him like, you gotta put Winnie in there, right?
Yeah, he told me.
That's
And
why
Winnie came
Winnie
in,
go.
locked it.
Yo,
Yeah.
Winnie, man.
And we ended up winning.
Yeah, we ended up winning.
But that just shows chemistry
Yeah.
that they had as even with they was
Yeah.
bonding, man.
Yeah.
So this is all in the same weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, how can you? Cause I'm gonna tell you something, man. If somebody had beat me up the night before, he beat me
Yeah.
up
That's
the
why I
night
said, right. Can you imagine?
Man, I'm not playing no ball with you those 2 days later.
Yeah. Yeah.
But them boys, man, they had
Mhm.
and what I like about it today is, and I tell people like today, you guys still have that chemistry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing when I sit back, you know,
We did.
and I look at you guys, and I talk to Mike, and I say, you talk to so and so, you like, man, we talk every day, group chat.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
And that's what's amazing though. And one thing I want to do, you know, I'm in the works of doing something. I don't want to announce it, but it's going to include. I talked to Mike about it. You know, it's going to include all of us because you're right. It's very rare that we've been friends for like 25 years. Like that's something like most times, like as you get older, you know, some of you drop off or something. But me and Mike, we can go 2 months without seeing each other or talking about. We see each other, you know, we pick right up where we left off,
Mhm.
and it's the same bit. And we got such a wide variety of friends like that. And I don't mean just to sit. I mean friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're friends, and again, that's because of the foundation that y'all helped lay. Because we're all, like you said, cool to this day. And like, you know, and it's amazing when you sit back and think about it because there's a lot of people that grew up and they go their separate ways. I mean, I talk my wife all the time that, you know, y'all don't continue to grow together, but us, it's just different, man.
Right.
Like it really is. Like it really is. It's amazing when you sit back and think about it. Like we got y'all to think about, like you said, you and Mike Stanford and James Bell and, you know, your brothers, and I mean the list goes on, man.
Right.
I mean the list goes on, like the help.
Definitely thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Is there anything else you remember about that year coaching LT, or even if you want to go sitting back that next year, how much better he got? Because I mean, you know, we knew LT was gonna be good as a kid. I tell LT all the time.
yeah,
I knew he was gonna be good when I first met you because when you was a young kid, you was playing 2 ages up
right.
and doing good then. So was there any surprise how great of a career that LT ended up having and successful that he ended up being even after that?
No, honestly, it wasn't because he played just like his dad, you know, and I mean, his dad could shoot the rock.
Yeah.
You know, Ty could shoot the ball.
Mhm.
Ty didn't have the handles that LT had,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and LT couldn't post up like Ty. Because Ty had a game where he could take you inside.
Mhm.
I mean, Ty got down low and he spread eagle.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's strong with the bowl.
Oh,
He
okay.
was putting it up.
Yeah.
You know, LT. I don't know where LT height came from because he.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He's rather.
Man, he just
I
shot
remember
up,
like,
man.
man, where are you?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
nah, but he had talent. His talent came from his dad, which was a lot of talent there, you know. But I remember we had a game over Colonel, and I'm trying to think what year it was. LT fell off.
Yeah, it was his temporary.
The temporary.
His temporary.
Yeah,
he played half that
and
year.
he got mad with me because we was over Colonel, and we needed that game. I bitched him.
Yeah, he did say
Oh,
something
wow.
about that.
Yeah, I missed him. And he was like, and he was mad with me. I think Tyler was mad with me because it was his last game,
Yeah, wow,
and they worried about him playing.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But my thing was, I got to use who I'm going to need to take this run with.
I see that.
You know what I
That's true.
mean? And he couldn't understand that.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, he could get upset with me at times, but
we all could. Yeah, trust me. And like I said,
But-
I know. Yeah.
I mean, you know, but the thing about it is, I never coached nobody different. You know,
No, you didn't.
I coached everybody the same.
Everybody. That's why
You know,
everybody the same.
I pushed everybody. I yelled at everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one player that can't say that.
Yeah.
Man, coach ain't never yelled
No,
at me.
that's true.
I yelled at everybody.
Mhm.
I mean, I pushed everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but if I felt like you're not gonna be able to help me, I couldn't use you. So I knew going forward, we had to finish the season without it.
Yeah.
So we had to learn to play without
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah.
But I think him falling off that year, I honestly
Bless this
think
guy.
was the blessing because him falling off and me not playing, I think it made him mature, and he just rose to the
Yeah,
occasion from then
He
on.
did. He did.
You know, he just turned the corner.
Yeah.
Once he turned that corner,
I'll tell you,
it was all over.
It was all over. It was all over, man.
it was all over.
The boy's so good,
And I truly wish that I could have coached him
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next.
all the way
Nah, I know you wanted to.
to his
But
senior
that's
year.
what I heard. But the plan was that you wanted to coach him, like you said, all the way to his senior year.
They treated me bad.
I know they did. I know you did.
They treated me
I
bad.
know they did.
But it comes down to also it comes down to haters
Mhm. Oh yeah, a lot
because,
of them. A lot of them.
because the way it went
A
down,
lot of them.
you know, there was no reason to. Right to this day, they told me they said, John Masson said we're not firing you.
Mm.
But he said I will ask you one question.
Mhm.
Could you be Tony Johnson's assistant?
He's assistant.
Yeah.
I ain't going back. I
And-
ain't going backwards either.
And
So I feel you on that.
I actually told him to be a slap in my
Yeah,
face.
that is. Yeah.
And then he asked me, right after that, he asked me, could I, well, I have one more question for you, Mr. Guy. He said, would you go to St. Michael's and turn that program around like you
Get
turned
out of
this
here.
program around?
Wow. You want to do that?
And I said to him, I said, you know what?
Mhm.
I thank you
Yeah. Yeah.
for the 6 years you guys gave me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I said, but you know what? No, I can't. do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
You know,
Yeah.
but I don't regret nothing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was great for me. It was the time that I had coaching was great.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, I got to see, you know, you went to college, Mike went to college,
Mhm. Yep.
D started out of college, he ended up going to the military,
Yep.
Yost went to college. I mean,
Mhm.
even kids that not only from Easton,
Mhm.
but kids that I work with from different schools.
Mhm.
When I sit back and I look at all of you guys, I would say
Yeah, it's amazing.
90% of you are successful.
It's amazing, man. It
You
is,
know,
man.
And if you didn't go to college, you guys are the ones that did go to college, they working,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing. I mean, that's why I said like it's rare, man. Like, and I don't take it for granted. That's one reason I want to do stuff like this because our friendship, our brotherhood, our family, man. It's just like you don't find it everywhere every
No.
day. Like, not that many. That how it is.
Right.
It's just like Gary said on here. Like y'all getting us all together is why, and I think Mike said a little bit too. We can go to any hood on the shore and we good. We can go to Cambridge and we kind of started because we used to go to Cambridge.
Right, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but when we started
When we
being cool, I used to
started,
remember last time in Shawana, like, we good going?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Because, you just
Right,
just
you
run up
can't
to
run,
Cambridge.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But that started that. You would go there. We could go in the corner in Denton or go to Feathersburg. Like, that started all that because of the AAU and their relationship,
Right.
man. So, like, it's just amazing, man. So, again, I thank you. You know what I mean? I know, obviously, Mike has told you enough. And everybody out there, shout out to Hawkeye,
Yeah.
and everything that he did for me as well. And just so many, so many. Before we get out of here, I do want to talk about the team jersey you have on. Did a little love with
Yeah,
Cowboys.
man.
Yeah. Can you tell me? I know y'all lost that last year. I know both y'all Cowboys fans. So just let me know. What do you expect for the rest of the year? Are y'all gonna make the playoffs? Is it gonna be a successful season? I mean, what do you think y'all are gonna do now without that? With Andy Dalton?
Man, look, the NFC East is so weak. I honestly think with the team we got, we still make playoffs.
Yeah.
I honestly think with the team we got, we still might because the NFC is so weak.
But I honestly think.
But I think they're gonna give Zeke the ball.
More now.
And I think if the Cowboys play defense,
Yeah.
they'll be all right anyway.
That's what they started. I mean, a little bit last week, a few times and stuff, a little bit better.
And we got a few pieces coming back. Our linebacker coming back. Leighton. What's the linebacker? We call him the Wolfheimer. Yeah, he's coming back. Randy Gregory's coming back.
Okay. Reinforcement.
Yeah, then we got a starting cornerback coming back.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know what we're gonna do. If we make the playoffs,
make the playoffs, successful season.
Yeah, we probably won't do nothing after that.
But I tell you what, though, I mean, that's why. And I remember Simon said this when y'all first signed Andy Dalton. That's why getting a former starter for all those years helped.
Yeah, exactly.
He's really not a back; he's a starter.
Yeah,
you know,
and he had some successful seasons.
Yeah, he had successful seasons. So you know him. The red rifle. So
like he came back. He came when he came in the game last Sunday.
Yeah. Oh man, he made some big throws to Gallup.
That comes back to being prepared.
Yeah.
They was prepared, for that day. You know what I mean?
Comes back to being prepared. That's awesome. I tell you, there's so many more stories we could tell and stuff we could say. And I know every time I do these, it's something I'm going to forget. But again, I appreciate y'all coming. Appreciate you sitting down and having this. Like I said, it's something else that I want to do down the road.
I'll tell you, I'm not to cut you off.
Nah, go ahead.
One thing I want to do is I want to give a great shout out to the late Mr. Wardell Price. Because honestly, when we started AAU, a lot of people we knew, he gave the money for our first basketballs.
Wow, is that right?
Yes. I went to him and told him what he was doing, and he asked me how much money I need. He gave me money. I went bought the balls.
One thing he was in the community.
And a lot of times when I had all these young men over my house, that weekend I go in, I get my hair cut, and he would say to me, "You got them boys this weekend, right?" And he would help give me money to help feed you guys.
This is something we just finding out.
Right.
Man. That's why I went like this. We didn't know this as kids, and I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I wonder, like, how Richard doing all this? Like, there's a lot of us, man. It's a lot of us to feed, bro. Like, y'all don't understand. We ain't talking about 3-4 people. We ain't talking about 5. We talking about 10 to 15 people every other week. Like, and he feed us. Yeah, mom gonna give us $20. We had McDonald's, Tasty Free, Exxon, we go Subway, you know what I mean, stuff like that. But man, it costs, man. So that's why I said, man,
that's why I always say it was a lot of hands in the pot. A lot of great hands.
That's great. Is there anything else either one of you want to say as far as just for anybody out there, the podcast or anything in closing for?
I just want to say I appreciate you having us on, man. I like what you're doing. You know what I mean? I'm pretty much on every podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate the support.
You know what I mean? If I'm not on it live, you know what I mean, I'll check it out later. So definitely want to say I like what you're doing. I appreciate you having us on.
Thank you, bro. Thanks, man.
Yep, I say I like to appreciate you for having us on. I like to say now I can tell the world Michael Blake is my son. I hid it for years. I didn't want nobody to say I was playing him because he was my son, but he was a great ball player.
A lot of people didn't know.
Great ball player.
The play or father son, right.
And an excellent son. And I say to all the young men out there that I coach, all y'all that listen, man, I love all y'all. I love you back then. I love you now. Ain't never gonna change. And I wish you the best.
Well, speaking for everybody, we love you too. Like I said, we appreciate everything you've ever done. Like I said, this time you could have told everybody, look, get out of my house.
Right.
Don't bring the boys back. They've been disrespectful, they've been this. But, from seeing, and just speaking for me for a second, I was immature at one point in time, and you helped me become a mature young man and then into a man. And a big part of that, huge part of that is you. So again, I thank God for it, man.
Well, see, and there's another story people don't know, the relationship that your dad and I had. He when I came over to high school, I think your dad he might have been a senior.
Mhm.
He was a senior or junior. But people don't know that your dad might have played ball for Eastern High, but he was like me. They call us country boys.
Yeah, that's what he always
You
said
know,
too, when he was on.
They call us country boys.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna tell you something. They didn't want his dad on the team.
yeah.
They didn't roll his dad like that.
Yeah.
And he had to earn a spot. And when I say he earned a spot,
yeah, he earned
a spot.
Yeah, you
You
guys,
know what
you gotta
I mean?
check that podcast out. He was on here for we did a Father's Day edition.
okay.
That was on YouTube too. So
Yeah,
shout out to
so-
Dan. He was on here. He was on here.
So
Dan.
so I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, people just don't know the relationship. Most everybody that I was dealing with, you know, either had a relationship with the father, or I knew the mother growing up, but most of them was, you know, the father. You know what I mean? Like I said, we was in high school together. We was warriors
Yeah,
together.
y'all was together. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
And that meant a lot too. I know you're included. That meant a lot too because wouldn't you say that was you were able to coach us harder because of having a relationship with
Oh,
who
yeah.
we knew?
Oh, yeah.
Because like you know, my mom would tell you, hey, whatever you need to do, say to them, dig in this, go ahead.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
could coach us like that. It wasn't I couldn't go home like, Mom, Richard's saying this, and not that I ever did, but I couldn't go home and she'd be like, so go ahead back out there, you know. So again, I think that helps.
yeah, that was a plus to
Mhm.
know the parents,
Yeah,
and I thank the parents
yeah,
because they trusted me
yeah,
what you got.
yeah,
Because honestly,
yeah.
I was a little rough. I mean,
Yeah.
street rough.
Yeah.
So a lot of parents, I mean, the truth be told, Winnie mom didn't even want Winnie to play for me at first. Remember, he was playing for Dale Green.
He was, yep. It was a couple
You know,
of players
and
yeah. Yep.
she said, "You ain't playing for that boy.
Yep.
That boy ain't doing a little bit of everything."
Yeah.
You know.
But nah,
But,
it makes a difference.
But
It makes a difference.
when she let him come over,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
he never went back.
Yeah, never went back,
You
man.
know.
I tell you, man, that's awesome. I tell you, this has been awesome. Like I said, it's made the rest of my year complete.
And I got a grandson, y'all. So
I'm
coming out of retirement.
Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. He got his lead assistants. Man, we good. Man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. A lot of great comments. I'll make sure that Mike show Richard all the comments and stuff so we can comment on those. Thanks everybody. We'll have it on YouTube in a couple of days. I'll have a flyer out. We got a Monday show coming up Monday. Got a young phenom, Logan Middleton, Cambridge High School, all-time leader in touchdown passes. He'll be on Monday. Looking forward to that. So I appreciate everybody. Real Sports Fan Podcast, episode 36. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.